the heavy bails for wind, but the groove in which they sit is deep. Stark in again. Pereira gets on his pads, goes down the leg side. Stark wants an LBW decision. It's not going to go his way, I think, because that was angling down leg side. Wait for the umpire's decision. He's holding off because they're waiting to decide whether DRS will be invoked, because if he gives the game away, doesn't want to do that before the timer has gone down to 0. We're at 5, 4, 3. I suspect this is going to be a leg bye given where the umpire is standing, and it is a leg bye just as the DRS timer goes down to 0. Bring a little look at that replay. That's miles down the leg.
Hit in line with fourth stump on the leg.
Hit in line with fourth stump. Would have hit 6th, I think, because it was tailing. Distinctly hopeful appeal. 6 without loss. Sri Lanka. Karunaratne back on strike. Stark into him, and he cuts this ball and gets it wide past a diving hand. A backward point. It's running towards the boundary. Richardson just stops that. They may have a little look at that because his back heel was very close to the boundary sponge. Sri Lankan spectators are suggesting they might win up. Well, I don't think they are going to have a look, as it turns out. So 2 more to the total, 8 without loss. And so we'll get there eventually.
These grooves.
So the groove is much deeper. So when it can bounce up and bounce back down again inside the groove much more easily.
It's got a longer way to go, a long way to travel, because it's starting lower.
You got it.
I get you. But why would you mess with the grooves? I don't get that.
Maybe it's something to do with having to get the electronic mechanism to work. Stark in again. Cut away for 4. Super shot, that one. Maxwell had no chance of cutting that off. He had to dive to his left. He was a good yard away from it. It was short. It was wide. And Karunaratne, who is not noted for being the fastest of scorers, well, he's on 7 from 3 balls. Pereira has 4 from 3 balls. There was a leg bye in that. 12 off the first over. What a rollicking start for Sri Lanka.
Well, coming out the blocks, there's extra pace on offer, isn't there? And we haven't seen a huge amount of movement. Although the opening bowlers for Australia are threatening, Cummins and Stark have been at the top in this tournament so far in terms of wickets, but if you miss your margin by a little bit, then actually for a batter it's nice to get into something and flash the blade. In some ways they've got nothing to lose in a game like this. I say just play some shots, express yourself, see if you can get ahead in the first 10 overs and then adjust once you lose a wicket, but go for it.
Well, you sort of think that Sri Lanka have got to win, but that's not strictly speaking true. I'm going to run you through a few scenarios in a minute. Maybe Andy will be able to corroborate my basic arithmetic. Cummins is going to start up from the Vauxhall end. First ball is pulled round the corner with no timing off a bit of hip by Pereira down to long leg for a single. It's a bit of bat on that. 13 without loss. So if Sri Lanka were to lose this game, because they've had the 2 washouts, they could still win their last 4 and effectively have the same number of points as you'd get for 6 wins, which might be enough to see you through to semi-finals. We thought originally 6 wins would be enough to get you through to the semi-finals. Their net run rate's pretty poor, and it's highly unlikely they'll win the next 4 games. You would have thought, as Cummins is in, and that's left alone by Karunaratne outside the off stump. There's no run there.
Yeah, but their next games: England, South Africa, India, West Indies. How many of them would you pick Sri Lanka to overturn?
Well, indeed, South Africa, possibly the West Indies. West Indies are struggling with a few injury problems. England themselves on the 21st may not have Morgan and Roy. I mean, England feel like a vastly superior team. Sri Lanka have been in poor form for a while. But teams don't go into tournaments, do they, thinking, well, we won't be able to beat them, or else you can't win the tournament. You've got to be thinking positively. Cummins is in. That's full on the pads, clipped away beautifully out through square leg. This is going to run away to the boundary. It's not going to quite make it. It'll hold up about a yard inside. They come back for a third. The throw is in, but he's home. Karunaratne picks up 3 for that. He moves into double figures already. Sri Lanka is 16 without loss, full on the pads, got the connection. With 2 slips in, it's an attacking field. There are gaps.
But there will be teams you look at a list and go, right, we can take them down. We've got a good. I don't know. I'm just saying, in the position that they are, they know they've got arguably their hardest stretch now ahead of them, and some of their easier or more available opportunities abandoned.
Cummins in, pulled through mid-wicket for 4. Wow, what a start this has been from Sri Lanka. Pereira, who's been in good nick this tournament, he started really positively, and just as Emily Rainford Brent was saying, they're a side that has nothing to lose. They're batting like they're a side with nothing to lose. It's a long way to go yet, but it's been a very, very fine start. We've only had 10 balls, 20 runs.
I like this. Go hard. I was going to say go hard or go home. That's not really a motivational talk before, but
I know what you mean. Covers in again. Pereira defends off the front foot out into the covers, and there is no run.
So I was going to say go hard until you lose maybe 1 or 2, and then you have to rebuild. But if you go out with that intent, throw Australia on the back foot. It's a good batting wicket. You never know. Get yourself ahead of the rate.
It is, and you know, they will take some heart from the end of that innings. Maxwell's brisk 40-odd notwithstanding. They were looking at potentially 360, 370 at one point. Hauled it back well. Cummins is in to complete the over. And then we're going to go to Andy Zaltzman. As Cummins runs away from us, from the Vauxhall end. And that's pulled in the air for 4 more by Pereira. Again, too short. He can play that shot. I wouldn't advise that ball. He moves to 13 from 7. Karunaratne 10 from 5. Sri Lanka after 2 overs, 24 without loss. 12 off the first over, 12 off the second over. Andy Zaltzman.
Uncharacteristically expensive start for both Australian opening bowlers. Mitchell Starc conceded 11 off the bat in his first over. That's the joint most he's conceded in the first over of an innings when he's opened the bowling, so over 1 or 2 of the innings. The joint most since the 2015 World Cup in a game against New Zealand in Auckland, when he was hit for 14 in his first over, ended up with 6 for 28, so be warned, Sri Lanka. And it's the second most Cummins has ever conceded inside the first 2 overs of an innings.
Karunaratne faces the first ball of Mitchell Starc's second over and drives a block hole delivery back to the bowler, gets a bit of hand on it, it rolls to mid-off, there's no run. So yes, they must be beware. The lights are on, the cloud is around us. The various forecasts have suggested that we could get unlucky. There could be a bit of a shower, quite a big one at some points today. So we will have to keep an eye on the Duckworth-Lewis par, potentially. Well, we should do it anyway, because it's a very good indicator of where a team is in the match. And I've just been past the Duckworth-Lewis, as if by magic. By Jeeves Mann behind me is short played into the offside. It's so marvellous having a valet. I don't think I'd ever imagined as a young man that it could be Simon Mann, but no man is a hero to his valet. Well, I know I'm not a hero to you, Simon. I'm very well aware of that. But, I do love a Duckworth-Lewis.
You ever read these things? They just look like gobbledygook. Talk me through it.
Look, I'll show you. So
talk through the listener.
I'll talk the listener through it. This is a little bit like ventriloquism on the radio, isn't it? I've got a sheet with lots of numbers on them, and some people find numbers a bit alarming, and I totally understand that. Starc in from the pavilion end. He bowls a full ball, thick edge, runs down through vacant backward point region. Richardson runs round to his left of field, throws in. They come back for 2. 26 without loss. Karunaratne moves to 12. So you have the number of overs bowled from 0 to 50 down the left hand side, and the number of overs remaining from 50 to 0. You don't really need to think about that. Okay. Ignore that, because one's a corollary of the other. Then across the top you have the number of wickets that are down from 0 to 9. And then it tells you what the score should be in the event of those number of wickets being down at the end of that particular over. So after 2 overs, if you haven't lost a wicket chasing this score, you need to be 9 without loss. As Starc is in on the pads. And that has squirted away through to a gully region where it's been picked up. A second slip moving to his left as an erroneous shout of "that's out" rings out behind me. Ball spearing down the leg side from Starc.
Starc looks...
It took him off his feet, didn't it?
Yeah, he looks fired up. In this over, every ball has got a bit quicker. That was 93 miles an hour. Tailing down, but equally wiped him out. Spearing in.
Don't ever be an umpire. You make a great valet, but don't be an umpire, Simon. Starc in again. And Karunaratne gets a bouncer, which he evades. That's over the shoulder, not wide. It went down the leg side. Very generous non-wide call from umpire Illingworth.
He's given him the one, though. He's bouncer.
Somewhat surprises me. Now the difference is that obviously you lose a wicket, things are awfully tricky. So if for some reason you've lost 7 wickets at the end of the first over, you need to have scored 262 runs. That is an exciting over of one-day cricket that I fancy I will never see. Sadly. Stark in again, down the leg side, flapped a bit of, got a little bit of a thigh pad, and it rolls to Carey, who picks up end of the over, a much more parsimonious one from Mitchell Stark. He has none for 13, just a 2 off that over, 26 without loss. Sri Lanka didn't have them.
He didn't have the internet.
Didn't have the internet.
Well, he did towards the end of his career,
Yes.
I guess.
Yes, but I mean,
But not this
not
type.
much in the way of ball-by-ball stats.
No.
Would have been tricky. So what Andy's doing is he can quiz his database with not an infinite number of possibilities, but really quite a large number of different permutations.
He's got enough computers for it, hasn't he?
You wait till he gets waxing lyrical on his twos. I have to ask how many twos we've had today. Cummins is in, and that's driven with no timing up to mid-off. There it is, fielded by David Warner, and there's no run.
This is the best summary sheet, stat sheet I've seen in a long time.
It's the greatest piece
Andy,
of paper in the world.
I have to give you that. I've been around the world now with this commentary game, and that's up there.
In 3,000 years' time, when they discover this will be like a bigger discovery than the Dead Sea Scrolls. This will just be absolutely the most magnificent thing. And the deciphering of it, I think, will take mankind the best part of 150 years. As Cummins is in and is worked into the onside by Pereira. He's going to pick up a single for it as Aaron Finch moves to his left from mid on to field. 27 without loss. What we're remarking, we get the team sheets, we get to find out what the changes are, we get the table, we get the previous results, we get the results to come, and again the matches to come, against whom and where. We get.
Does it say where as well?
Not the results to come.
Not the results to come. If you get me that,
suspicious.
that'd be marvellous. I would retire on the spot. Cummins in, driven back to the bowler, and there's no run. Then we have the next 5 matches. So for those of you who are interested, South Africa against Afghanistan, which is taking place today, India, Pakistan in Manchester, West Indies, Bangladesh, Jaimat, England, Afghanistan in Manchester, and Tuesday, New Zealand, South Africa at Edgbaston. Then the tournament leading batsmen, only 6 of them, but it's not bad. But for some reason, 7 bowlers. Obviously, he prefers bowlers to batsmen. He's a curious man. We also know who the umpires are. The referee, as Cummins is in, short outside the off stump, flashed at and missed by Karunaratne. Then on the other side, and this is where it gets just impossibly almost erotic, we've got the batting and bowling figures, both accumulated over the course of the tournament for each player listed from each team, not in alphabetical order. I don't know what order he's done that in.
Rough batting order.
What, Zampa at the top?
Oh no, I got that wrong. That was alphabetical. By Christian name. Sorry, I forgot to
By
resort it for
Christian
you.
name, I see. Oh, sorry. If that person's listening and thinks I'm being critical of Andy, I'm not. Driven beautifully square of the wicket. This delivery from Karunaratne is full. It was wide. It's running away towards the boundary. I think it will be hauled in. It's a very long boundary there. Deep point on the Harleyford Road side. Throw comes in. 3 more to the total. 30 without loss. Karunaratne has 15. Will keep strike. Pereira has 14. It's a very murky picture.
There's something happening, isn't
There's
there?
something happening. There's a kind of misty ooze that's developing from the sky, which is not, I think, yet what we could classify as rain.
There's something. It's
Moisture.
I can see little, it's that sort of sprinkler type
Mist.
mist.
I think it's a mist, which is a little alarming, but it's got lighter of late. Then, just to complete the picture for you, you have each team's results laid out for you at the top. So from this I can deduce that Australia beat Afghanistan by 7 wickets, beat West Indies by 15 runs, lost to India by 36, Pakistan They beat by 41 with their aggregated scores. And then I've got the individual performances, both with bat and ball, for every player against each team. All that on one sheet.
How long did it take to make this template, Andy?
We'll find out in a moment. Stark begins a new over. His first ball is nibbled at by Karunaratne through to the keeper. There's no run. 30 without loss. Start of the 5th over. How long did it take? Oh, it's Behrendorff. So Behrendorff has come into the attack. I beg your pardon. Behrendorff has come into the attack to replace Stark after just 2 overs. And when was the last time that that Stark or Cummins was removed from the attack within 4 overs of an ODI, Andy? Behrendorff in, short, worked off the back foot up to mid-on by Karunaratne, and there is no run. I think once you've alighted upon the template, that must have been the thing. The design of it must have taken a while, I'm thinking.
Yeah, but I just tinkered around with it for a couple of hours before the tournament, and then it takes me maybe 10-15 minutes to update it each day.
It's absolutely brilliant, and you're going to do me one for Monday, aren't you, which I've just got to fill in the dots for which players are playing, and up to a point the table. You give me the table at the end of today. Sri Lanka, after 5 overs, have made a decent start. They're 31 without loss. Karunaratne has 16. Pereira has 14. You keep thinking about that, Ebony. Keep channeling it, but talking at the same time. And then it'll be Jeff Lemon.
The interesting thing about cricket, I find, is, especially doing the circuit, sometimes doing the domestic circuit, you can work out a player by their bowling action, but if you saw them face to face, you wouldn't have a clue what they look like. But you watch so much cricket, you have these imprints, bowling actions and batting styles, Jeff.
Pat Cummins has a distinctive run-up, all elbows pumping out the back as he delivers just outside the off stump, and Karunaratne defends neatly.
Can you think of who we think Behrendorff? It's not so much his delivery stride, it's more the way he runs up and he's got these arms sort of pumping out in front of him.
I was more perplexed by entering the room to find you and Dan Norcross both doing bench press movements repeatedly out in front of you towards the window. I thought I'd walked into a calisthenics class or something. Pop the Jane Fonda tape on.
Dan in the gym, all working out.
Other workout tapes are available. Pat Cummins wheels around from the Vauxhall end to Karunaratne, pulls well into the gap. That'll run away for 4. Didn't make completely clean contact. He just heard that slightly clunky sound of the bat not quite striking ball, but with the field up, It was good enough. It split the gap at mid-wicket. Karunaratne on to 20. Sri Lanka 35 with that loss.
Yeah, didn't quite get into the position he was looking for. Just got a bit stuck on the crease, but equally the ball sat up nicely, sort of head height, got the hands out in front and found the gap. So although it wasn't clean connection, it was able to do the damage.
Good enough with everybody inside the field. 2 slips. Waiting as Cummins bowls, and Karunaratne inside edges past his stumps for 4. Well, good fortune follows good placement as the recently installed Sri Lankan one-day captain stretched forward at that and was lucky to survive. He goes to 24, Sri Lanka 39 for none.
This is brilliant, isn't it? And you just feel if they could get to almost double this, had to maybe get to 80, 90 at the end of the first 10 at the rate they're going. I just say keep playing positive, because it then throws the Australian game plan. You know, they've already had to make a change that they don't normally with Stark at the other end.
Cummins. That ball missed leg stump by a fairway, so it wasn't the closest of shaves. Good ball, just cutting back into Karunaratne a bit, tangles him up, squared him up, and he ended up playing a sort of defensive jab, but didn't play it convincingly to the offside.
Sorry, I can see the bowling action in my head who I think Behrendorff looks like. And it's bothering me because I can't put the face to it.
I'll have to watch him with this in mind.
With intent.
Yeah, it's all about intent, isn't
Yeah,
it? Defending with intent, leaving with intent, watching Jason Behrendorff with intent.
With intent, exactly. Score on the board. There's no point sort of trying to see off the likes of Cummins and Stark. Take the game to them. It forces them to have to change their game plan, and then if you can get to 10 overs, possibly without loss of more than one, then you're in the game, aren't you?
So you were in the outer for that run chase they had here in the Champions Trophy. Was that the game?
Yeah, but I kind of don't remember the win because there's a picture of me in the crowd going wild, but for some reason the memory of the game is
hazy.
Yeah.
You just don't know why.
Yeah.
It's receded somehow.
Yeah.
There's photographic evidence that you were there. But
I was dancing solo.
That's interesting. That's a very unusual phenomenon. I've never heard of anything like it. Short-term amnesia at a festive event for some reason. Very interesting. Here we go. Behrendorff, rather. The ball's turned away behind square. And we'll get back for a second run as Jason Behrendorff. I was just so busy watching his action, trying to figure out what you were talking about, that I was quite distracted.
I'm going to go on social media and see if anybody has had any ideas about who his action looks like.
42 for none. Karunaratne adds a couple to his score. 27 he's got so far. Jason Behrendorff. Karunaratne's walking at him and dropping the ball into a gap at cover. Just took a little shuffle down the pitch and then found the gap for one. Interesting move for a single. Karunaratne 28. He's gone at a runner ball so far. Very nice stuff from the skipper. 43 for none.
He'd faced 17 balls in a row, so now Pereira finally gets to face the ball for the first time since the third ball of the fourth over.
Wow. Let's see if he can remember how to play cricket. Kusal Janeth Pereira has had a hell of a year for Sri Lanka. He's swatting across the line at a marginally short ball, just getting one because Stark is loping in from deep square leg. 1 run added, 44 for none. I can't say I haven't got it. I haven't got it. Jason
I'm thinking
Behrendorff.
maybe James Kirtley, Sussex, just in the arms in the run-up. Not so much the delivery. It's just how he comes in. Do you remember James Kirtley?
I can't say I do.
Sussex bowler, seam bowler.
We don't get as much Sussex cricket in Australia as you do here. Another short ball pulled away, beating short fine leg. There'll be some work for Stark in the deep. He's sprinting around. Can he get there? No. Ball rolls into the rope. Sri Lanka move on to 48 for none. And Karunaratne is zooming along, 32 from 29.
This is good. It wasn't actually that short, but he's made up his mind. The line was just slightly getting awkward on him, just helped it around the corner.
Yeah.
Had enough pace to go.
Just didn't try to smash it, I think was important as well. He knew that short fine was up, so he just wanted placement. In the end, he got it square of Cummins rather than fine of him. But here comes Behrendorff, inside edge, and there'll be another 4 runs. Karunaratne's living a charmed life as far as the inside half of the blade goes. Another ball edged past his stumps. He goes on to 36 from 30. Sri Lanka's 50 is up in the 7th over, 52 for none.
Well,
Interesting.
This is exactly what everybody wanted, isn't it? Australia, on paper, the favourites. Sri Lanka down in terms of the world rankings. They've had 2 matches. You know, it could have easily been one of these where they're 3 or 4 down. But no, they've come out for a bit of a party. It's a good batting track as well. And that's going to be in the favour of the Sri Lankans.
Value for shots off the inside edge so far. Behrendorff to Karunaratne, whipping off his pads. Getting 1, thinking about the 2. Would have if it were David Warner and co. But Karunaratne was starting to come back. But Kusal Perera said, no thanks, you can keep strike again. Just keep hogging it up. So Kusal Perera's faced, 1 ball in 4 overs, I think. 53 for none, Sri Lanka after 7. Karunaratne 37. Perera 15.
Karunaratne has not played a great deal of one-day international cricket. This is the 13th time he's batted inside the first 7 overs. His previous highest score after 7 overs was 17. And he's
up, and there's a pump with that bowling arm that is very similar. It's that sort of bowlers as they run.
Some of the statos suggested it was the best innings ever. As he slaps across the line, this could be the start of a pretty good.
Pace coming on, so they're able just to generate a bit more than actually Australia had to. Pace coming on, so they're able just to generate. Australia had to. Pace coming on, they're able just to.
Sri Lanka going along nicely. 8 overs bowled. Karunaratne 42 from 34. Kusal Perera 18 from 14. Jolly times.
Well, it's interesting because I was saying coming out here that the hardest thing for Sri Lanka would have been to see off the likes of Starks and Cummings, but actually quite quickly they forget seeing them off. They've taken them down and now put the next change bowlers in and they're getting a bit of treat.
Just absolutely laced that ball. That was a length ball, strode into it, full flow of the bat and cleaned it up.
Absolutely lovely time, and also the wind is going that way. There's quite a strong breeze, so if you're gonna give it a whack, that's the side you want to really play that expansive shot. Well, the entertainment value is here.
The enthusiasm of this Sri Lankan pair growing by the delivery. Jason Behrendorff to Kusal Perera, steps across, works it to square leg, thinks about the second, he wants it, he's calling Karunaratne through, and it's a good call in the end as the throw came in just a little bit slowly. A 6 and a
টাইগার ফ্যানদের দাও লাইফ বয় স্ট্রং সুরক্ষা। এই ঈদে বাংলা
A quality spinner, as do Afghanistan, of course, have quality in Rashid Khan.
Yeah, imagine not playing the bowl off between two of the best leg spinners in the current game.
Short ball. Yeah, the thing with Afghanistan's bowling attack, so much of it centres around the strength of the spinners. They haven't quite had the conditions around this World Cup to really play to that strength yet. And the weather and the overall conditions is what it is. You have to work with what you've got.
Also, as a spinner, you like to have runs on the board. It gives you that ability to try and make things happen, ask the people to take the risks.
Just the one off the over, 66 for 2.
পরিবারের সবার সাথে ঈদের আনন্দ শেয়ার করে নিতে রবি দিচ্ছে মাত্র 48 টাকায় 2 জিবি ইন্টারনেট। রবি।
মানুষ তো কথা বলবেই, কিন্তু সৌন্দর্য আমাদের অধিকার। আর আমার সৌন্দর্যের শুরু লাক্সের সাথে। 7টি সৌন্দর্য উপাদান সমৃদ্ধ লাক্স, যা দেয় কোমল ও সুরভিত ত্বক বহুক্ষণ জুড়ে। সৌন্দর্য আমাদের অধিকার। লাক্স।
Very winnable from here. Oh, what a stroke that is. Dismissive. Don't bowl there at me, boy.
Australia's problems compound. Back of length delivery. We've seen it disappear so many times already in this innings from Pereira. And once again, that short arm jab, that Jayasuriya comparison just keeps flooding. A little bit of pace off the ball, but it's a nothing delivery really. Finch borders slip out, put him into mid-wicket. Makes no difference. Pereira goes bang.
Huge Sri Lankan population in this country, and a lot of them here today. There's a real sense of possibility in this crowd. It actually began when Sri Lanka fielded well at the end of the innings. The run-outs were a great lift, intelligent bowling right at the end, and all of that seemed to set the crowd off and make them believe, okay, it may not be likely, but it's not impossible. Now, of course, it's turned from not impossible to really quite possible. 86 scored from 9.5. Australia going to a very strong offside field. A 6-3, no one back, leg side will bowl. Trying to get the bat away from the body, get him feeling for the ball in a less comfortable area. Now Richardson and Carey think he might have hit this. I think Finch might well review it too on the back of... We saw him wait late the other day. Yup, review he does.
Third umpire to director, we have a player review for call behind. The original decision is not out. Can we start with the front foot first, please? Thank you, that's a fair delivery. Front on spin vision, please. Okay. Yeah, there's nothing conclusive there. Can we have ultra edge when ready, please, Kevin? And just roll right through, please. Keep going through, all the way through, and then just take it back another couple of frames again, please. I just want to confirm that it's a flat line, so keep going back, and then through again, keep going through, flat line all the way through. Thank you. Ready to go back to Ali Monfils.
Okay, so Australia have used up their review. They can't review any other decisions in this innings. Good shot for one. Somebody heard something, didn't they? But Richardson's uncertain. Carey seemed reasonably sure. Certainly we could pick up nothing on the stump mic in terms of sound, and obviously Ultra Edge showing nothing. So Crystal Pereira's okay, and it's Karuna-Ratner on strike now. An eventful over, 87 for no wicket from 10, the end of the first power play.
Bulbs come in, same to same, same to same. Goal matol, patche the frame, kal ka design, aaj bhi same. LED bulb dena.
Bulb क्यों? Philips का T-bulb लो.
Time to jago, new T-bulb blow, brighter, wider, like a throw. हर कोने को रोशनी से old bulb को no Philips T-bulb blow.
उन हर ओवर राइड विच रन्स बनाओ, रिवॉर्ड पाओ, इंग्लैंड जाओ. इस बारी फैंस ने जितना है.
It's the Sri Lankan side chosen to play Australia today at the end of the first power play. 87 are on the board in a pursuit of 335 to win the game and get right back into this World Cup, particularly after West Indies' defeat yesterday by England. It's a great time for Sri Lanka to win a game and get back in this race. Now Glenn Maxwell chosen as the specialist spinner today. No place in the Australian side for Nathan Lyon or Adam Zampa. He'll bowl with two back leg side, deep backward square leg, deep mid wicket, then on the offside mid off and point. It's good delivery, got it up in the air, bowled it a bit slower, and it just gripped enough in the surface to make Pereira rethink his shot. Confirmation of how the first 10, that power play, have gone Sri Lanka's way. A comparison is Australia were 53 for no wicket at the same stage. Wide call down the leg side. Umpires are very strict on anything that passes round the back of the batsman's leg, whatever the line the ball starts on. Oh, this is a good over. Can he finish the job? One ball remains in it because of the wide. Just a single from it to go with that wide. Come back for two. Nice running between the wickets, that. Ratner running the first so quickly that he made the second relatively straightforward. 11 gone, 91 for no wicket.
लो वोटिंग टर्नआउट लोगों को अपनी बाइक्स पे पोलिंग बूथ ले आते हैं ये सही है जिम्मेदारी रुक मत चल तू
आने वाले कल की सुरक्षा में हम आपका साथ देंगे कैस्ट्रॉल एक्टिव दे इंजन को लगातार सुरक्षा चल
जीतेगा भाई जीतेगा इंडिया जीतेगा
वाइल्डस्टोन डीओस फॉर मैन लोग तो नोटिस करेंगे
A real treat in it. Very different batting from this pair to Finch, who, as I say, drove very straight. But this pair came out and have scored all around the wicket. Neither any more dominant than the other. Karunaratne a little more elegant and upright. Pereira stocky and punchy, a little more like Sanat Jayasuriya. Little bits of luck have gone their way. But essentially it's the approach and the quality of it, actually, not just the ambition of it, that have been so impressive.
I think from Australia's point of view, they would have been pretty delighted with how Glenn Maxwell started his over just now. I think it's the first time in this innings where they've had an element of control about the game. The ball potentially turning away from the left-hander. This makes both left-handers a little cautious about how they go about attacking Maxwell. What's really important from Kane Richardson's point of view here is, while still wanting to keep an attacking mindset, he's almost allowing himself to shut down one side of the field. I think even if we look at, say, in England, who are very comfortable chasing big totals, but seeing themselves, their own bowling lineup, get away from them a little bit. And these grounds being shut down one side of the field when you've got a score on the board. Just ask the opposition to score in excess of 300 on one side of the park. That's quite a different mindset. And then from that, once you get control, then you can decide when the next opportunity is to be able to go and attack the opposition.
Now they've gone back to 5-4 for a couple of balls. He had a 6-3 offside field, which means square leg and sort of long legger back, mid-wicket, mid-on, saving the single on the leg side. And it's just burst through the hands of the fielder mid-on. There's that Usman Khawaja that hits so hard. Fantastic innings this from Dimuth Karunaratne, the Sri Lankan captain. 50 from 43 balls. He's got the ground on its feet. If there was a roof on the place, it had probably come off right here and now, and he's only got to 50. The fact is, he's given Sri Lanka more than just a shout, a real chance in the game. .98 for no wicket.
भाई, इस गर्मी से बचने का बेस्ट आइडिया. एक और शार लूंगा और भाई बिल्डिंग का पानी खत्म हो गया. बेटा, लाखों को गर्मी में यही आइडिया आता है, पर एक स्प्राइट ही है जो रिफ्रेश कर जाता है.
सबसे बब्जी अंडा वंडा कौन लाएगा?
जी रेनकोट्स, क्योंकि ना लाइफ रुकेगी ना बारिश.
It's amazing when kids understand and learn. Disney Baiju's Early Learn app. Download now for classes 1 to 3, for classes 4 to 12.
Unlikely to be boring. He's a fair way down the pitch here. Little skip down the pitch might have saved him. Australia have no reviews. They used the one up they're entitled to. Quite high. I know you've made a little choky reaction there, as if to say,
I wouldn't mind another look at that. I think it's quite round arm from Maxwell. It's not the up and over of action. Skiddy delivery. Whatever it is, Sri Lanka survive.
Well, the hundreds come up, but we'll look at this in the meantime. McCullum, go McCullum. Nice eye for it. That's what matters now, though. Still no wickets down and 100 on the board. Very good stuff from Glenn Maxwell, evening the game out a little. 102 for no wicket now.
What makes us human? Sometimes it feels like we've forgotten. Maybe we can learn again from someone who's been learning from us.
Welcome, Benedict.
Learn to recognize each other. Hello, MG. Turn on AC.
Turning on AC.
Learn to listen and respond to each other. Open sunroof. MG Hector. It's a human thing.
उन हर ओवर राइड विच रन्स बनाओ, रिवॉर्ड पाओ, ते इंग्लैंड जाओ। इस बारी फैंस ने जितना है।
Bengaluru could forget that. And then Wellington, the feature ground for the next three, feature country for the next three, Nelson, New Plymouth and Wellington in New Zealand. Followed by another one in Nelson. I guess, is that smaller grounds, Bazza, or just superb pitches?
And the atmosphere really gets batting side home, I think. Nico, I think you're right. The smaller grounds probably play a massive part there, as well as good surfaces. Some great chases there, that's for sure. Ireland, 3 occasions they feature.
Sometimes. It is interesting that Ireland are in there. It says a lot about their belief and their fighting qualities. The win against England, the most famous of them all. Can Sri Lanka repeat that sort of heroic performance today? They certainly weren't favourites when the run chase began. 335 was needed. Well, they've already reduced that to 200. It is interesting that Ireland are in there. It says a lot about their belief and their fighting qualities. The win against England, the most famous of them all. Can Sri Lanka repeat that sort of heroic performance today? They certainly weren't favourites when the run chase began. 335 was needed. Well, they've already reduced that.
They've got that 5th bowler that Aaron Finch has to try and manage 10 overs from, over probably 2, potentially even 3 bowlers.
Need to get Finch on to bowl a full toss. That'll do the trick. This is Stark bowling. It's outside the off stump. An open face from Karunaratne, guiding it down towards third man for the single. This is only Stark's 3rd over, so he's still got plenty to come. No wicket for 16 so far. 105 for no wicket, Sri Lanka. Coming to the end of the 14th over. Fantastic start by these two. 335 the target out of Finch's 153 for Australia. Didn't quite get as many as they threatened to do, but nevertheless 334 for 7. It'll take some getting. Pitch is good though, outfield quick. Weather set reasonably fair. Stark bowls full, good Yorker, but he's going to get a single. Gets the bat down on it, Pereira, and that brings him a half century. So although it was a good ball, it was a triumph for Sri Lanka that Pereira's got to his half century. He's got there quickly as well. It's 106 for no wicket. Pereira's half century.
33 balls, a 6 and 5 fours. His 17th 50+ score in ODI cricket. He has 4 centuries amongst those.
Just looking around the ground, looks like the Sri Lankan support has swelled since the start of the match. Lots and lots of flags around the ground. They might, of course, be being waved by
Maxwell, 2 overs for 8. Pereira happy to take the singles offered out on the offside to point, and this time long off. And Karunaratne back on the strike. It's a sort of ball, isn't it, that when you first come in is a living nightmare. Once you've got 50, you just about cope. Jabbing down on it.
Into swing as well, a little bit of swing back into left-hander. Brace of surfaces here at the oval on the wicket block can lend itself to a little bit of reverse swing.
Now the gap at mid-on picked out. Seen a lot of athletic fielding in this World Cup and a lot of good work down on the boundaries. The modern players practice that a lot. The highlight, of course, has been Sheldon Cottrell's catch at Trent Bridge, but that in itself is pretty darn good. Sean Marsh, the first of those two fielders.
It's been good, Maxwell, so far. He's got a sense of control back into this game. The two left-handers, obviously, off spin of Maxwell.
It does open up. If I suppose the next best option is Aaron Finch, maybe Steve Smith. I don't know how much bowling he's done. Finch likely to be a bit tidier. Smith will get more spin. Smith, a leg spinner, began his life as a leg spinner, actually, batting at number 7 for Australia. Anyway, 112 for no wicket.
পরিবারের সবার সাথে ঈদের আনন্দ শেয়ার করে নিতে রবি দিচ্ছে মাত্র 48 টাকায় 2 জিবি ইন্টারনেট। রবি।
চুল লম্বা করছিস? হ্যাঁ, এতখানি।
খেলায় ফোকাস করো, লম্বা চুলে নয়।
দেখা যাক সানসিল্ক লং এন্ড হেলদি গ্রোথের বায়োটিন যুক্ত ফর্মুলা চুলকে রাখে হেলদি ও লম্বা। খেলা নাকি লম্বা চুল, দুটোই একসাথে।
আমি জিততে, আমি অটল, আমি আপন লক্ষ্যে অবিচল। জিপিএইচ ইস্পাত, দৃঢ়তার প্রতি।
Stark, very much the go-to player when you want a wicket. You go to Stark, you go to Cummins, but Stark in particular is that bowler who can get you the breakthrough, and he's got to keep those speeds up there from the outset. 145, that delivery. And what a blitz we've seen from the opening pair of Sri Lanka. It's been brilliant batting. So good to watch. Such freedom at the crease and no great risks taken, Clarkie.
Yeah, state the obvious, Slats. Australia needs a wicket. They've been brilliant, this pair, this Sri Lankan pair. All the shots, putting pressure on the Australian bowlers and Aaron Finch, the captain.
All the shots now coming out of the middle. They have done from the outset. Karunaratne was setting the pace from the outset, and you'll just notice the length that he picks up so well. To play the pull shot, to play the flick, to play the cut shot. But he was brilliant launching, and Australia just kept bowling that length. Pereira has been able to back it up as well.
Yeah, too short, there's no doubt about it. Seeing so many pull shots and cut shots, Australian camp won't be happy with that. But again, we've seen how good a batting surface this is.
There he is, the breakthrough man. Stark, he comes back in and he takes him a couple of deliveries. That's what Australia were after.
Yeah, brilliant from Finch, going back to his strike weapon, Stark. Once again, Mitchell Stark, full and straight. Much better length from Australia. Attacking the pegs, you miss, I hit. The Aussies needed that. Huge breakthrough.
But he's got his side off to a good start. Pereira 52, 115 for 1.
মিষ্টি আমের মজায় লাইফ হোক ফ্রুটোময়।
মোবাইলে সঞ্চয়ের টাকা বাড়তেছে তো? নগদে সঞ্চয়ে টাকা বাড়ে সবচেয়ে বেশি হারে নগদ। ডাক বিভাগের ডিজিটাল লেনদেন।
খেলা দেখুন বায়োস্কোপে, যেখানে সেখানে যখন তখন বাংলায়।
টিভিএস ঈদ উৎসব, ঈদের ফুর্তি আবার জমাতে টিভিএস বাইকে 15,000 টাকা পর্যন্ত ছাড়। পারল 25 জুন 2019 পর্যন্ত। আজই আসুন টিভিএস এর শোরুমে।
লাইফে নতুন মাত্রার এনার্জি আর ভাবস দিতে এলো গিয়ার। এবার লাইফ চলবে টপ গিয়ারে। গিয়ারে থাকো।
6 গুণ মিল্ক ময়েশ্চার আর বেলি সুবাস আপনাকে দেবে ফ্রেশ অ্যান্ড ইয়াঙ্গার লুকিং স্কিন। মেরিল মিল্ক অ্যান্ড বেলি সোপার, ফ্রেশ মানে সুন্দর। বাংলার স্বাদ আর উষ্ণতায় মুগ্ধ সারা পৃথিবী। ঠিক সেই স্বাদ, রং আর ঘ্রাণ নিয়ে এলো নিজস্ব বাগান থেকে। বেঙ্গল ক্লাসিক টি, উষ্ণতার এক নতুন গল্প।
খাদ্যের মান ফিরে না আসা পর্যন্ত চলমান ভেজাল বিরোধী অভিযান অব্যাহত থাকবে।
এই গরমে একটা ঠান্ডা নিউজ দেই। এখন মাইজিপি অ্যাপে নির্দিষ্ট ইন্টারনেট প্যাকে 10% বোনাস। বেশি থাকতে কম নেবেন কেন?
Coming back in the middle stump, so it set off just outside off and just tailed back slightly. Just tailed back slightly. All that was required. All that was required. And that's a terrific delivery, real striking delivery. Oh, the lefty